Hey everybody, welcome back. It's a little bit of a special here. So yesterday, December 28th, was 50% off day for Germany, so I bought myself some premiums. Here's a little look at the TA 154A1, a little look at the inside the cockpit. A very Kurt Tank looking forward canopy there. The cockpit and canopy looked pretty good, I think. I actually forgot to get one with the AT219 in the second part of the video, so sorry, I didn't get a cockpit view. At any rate, there's a little bit of a look around at the TA 154. This was the first aircraft that I bought at 50% off, so it was the first one I flew. So we'll skip ahead a bit for the climb, get us up to our altitude here. Get up to 12,000 feet, and kind of before I realize, oh right, I'm fighting lower tier Allied planes. They're not going to be climbing. The Spitfires are going to be climbing, but the things that I'm probably looking forward to fight are not going to be climbing. And sure enough, there are the first ground strikers, which are actual ground strikers. So I'm not making fun of them or anything, but there are the first ground strikers hitting. So I'm starting to, I got up above the clouds here and was looking for bombers and kind of realized that there probably aren't going to be any heavy bombers here, just probably some mediums, and they're probably not going to go high. There's no point for them to really climb. They're going to be low flyers, so.
The enemy is taking the initiative.
Decided to roll in and drop down below the clouds, and sure enough, there are the PBJs down below with a HE219 on them, so as you might expect with a 50% off sale day, there's quite a few 154s and 219s, and ultimately I decided on the 154 and the 219, both because there have been a few videos of them lately that people have done, but also because they're part of the revenue share with player created aircraft, so that was really the ultimate deciding factor with why I bought these two. Get a pretty good dive on this poor PBJ. I don't think he was particularly aware that I was coming with the engines turned all the way down to 0. Tried to roll in on this P-51 after that. Couldn't quite get the nose down. Now, let me state at the beginning here that I am far from the world's best fighter pilot in heavy or medium fighter pilot in War Thunder. And after I deal with this P-51 here, or P-51, F4U, sorry. Was just on a P-51. After I deal with him, I'll just specify that you can see I am playing with mouse and keyboard with instructor help here. Most of the time I play with a joystick. However, I'm trying to get into more using the mouse and keyboard for when I fly fighters, because it's just, joystick is just too much of a disadvantage when you're playing realistic. So, as you can see, I'm still getting used to it. I'm not quite on the, now there's a Spitfire getting close in on me here, but I'm trying to get in behind this 51 to finish him off. Couldn't quite pull lead on him because it's not exactly an agile turn fighter. Dropped my flaps down to try and pull some, combat flaps down to try and pull some lead on him, and as soon as I did that, the wingtip gets blown off by the Spit Mark 9, and that's that. But still, 2 air kills and a pretty decent score here in a very short amount of time. And there's a little screen cap of what the score was at the time of me getting shot down, and here's the final. We ended up losing. I got bumped down to 3rd, but still, premium rewards with the premium plane, pretty good. And I was very nearly done with the research on my 262 CB, so rolling into the second battle with the second plane that I bought, which was the Heinkel 219A7. And we'll get a little bit of a look around at her here. A little bit of a circle around camera views. And like I said, I forgot to get the an inside the cockpit view, but here's what she looks like with all the cannons that she's got. 6 different cannons, 4 30 mils of 2 different types and 2 20 mils, plus a radar and a radar operator and radar screen, which of course is not implemented in the game, but that's what the second guy facing backwards is. I think both of these are beautiful aircraft. Some people might disagree with me, but I think they're both really gorgeous. They both get interceptor spawns as well, which is nice, so we'll skip ahead a bit. Now, this was Norway. And when I've got a premium fighter going in on Norway, if I get the chance to go after AI planes, I'm going to go after them because they're huge amounts of research. And like I said, I was trying to finish the grind on my 262C, and the reward payout for killing the AI planes here, period, is really good, much less when you've got a premium plane and a premium account. So I decided to roll in on the Beaufighters, take them out. This will be a... I apologize to you guys who aren't interested in seeing AI kills, but I'll skip ahead a bit after this. While all German aircraft were 50% off, I was still trying to get that 262 finished so I could buy it at half price, because my Lions were a bit low at this point, even though, so normally I chew people out for shooting over shoulders, even though I was doing it here. I did make sure that I knew where that 198.5 was and didn't shoot over his shoulder as much as I could help it. I did a little bit, but... So 2 AIs dealt with, pretty decent score already. Knew this was going to pay out well in research and Lions already at this point, just for killing the 2 AI. Heading back for our bomb zones here, because something has already gotten to instruct them. It turns out, I noticed afterwards later, that it was actually a Wyvern who's already been shot down. A B-25 just got shot down up here, which I wasn't sure what had got in and hit all of our base there. But while I'm waiting for trying to figure out what struck here and looking to see what other airplanes are.
Attack the enemy!
Looking around to see if there's any more bombers or anything sneaking in. There's a Halifax who's decided that discretion is the better part of valor and is turning to run away. I'm gonna try to catch up to him, but after a moment or two, realize that there's basically no way. And just like I ran into Heinkel 219s in my Tank 154 video, here is a Tank 154 in my Heinkel 219 video. That's kind of funny. You're gonna see them a lot because their battle ratings are pretty close to each other. And like I said there in chat, 28 December was pretty good to me in terms of German vehicles and War Thunder. I bought these 2 aircraft. I was able to buy the Gepard, the Flak Panzer I Gepard Tier 5 AAA. I had it researched, but I'd been waiting. So I was able to buy that for half price at 495k, and then I was able... I don't finish it at the end of this battle, but I was able to... One more battle with the Ta 154, and I was able to knock out the research for the final 262, and was able to buy that for half price at, I think, 395k. So very good. I wouldn't have been able to afford both of those vehicles yesterday on the 28th if it hadn't been 50% off Germany Day. So that was very nice. Decided there's no way I'm not going to catch up to that Halifax, not in a tail chase when he's already got altitude. So I'm going to drop back down and see if I can't get in here and help out the rest of our fighters fighting down near the A point. And I thought it was kind of humorous that I was talking about when I got my Flak Panzer for half price at 495,000 Lions. Somebody asked me which Flak Panzer Gepard I was talking about. The Tier 1, the Tier 2, or the Tier 5. Because, well, there's a Flak Panzer 1 and there's a Gepard. Well, that is true. But only one of them is ever going to cost you 495,000 Lions at half price. The rest of them aren't even that much at full price. Anyway, it was funny. It was in the heat of battle, too. So I'm heading back into the battle here to try and get in and help the teammates out. Getting there as fast as I can in this big, monstrous, heavy fighter beast. Find a P-38 down a bit low. He's not really particularly being engaged by anyone. He's pretty close to my Pubby squad mate here, so I'm going to see what I can do to go in after him. Got the throttles at 0, and boy, is this thing picking up speed. Now, thankfully, the P-38 does me a favor and kind of turns away and heads basically underneath me, although I still had to pull up, level off, and try to bleed some of the speed off because I was going to overspeed this thing quickly otherwise. So I don't know if there was not a lot of sound coming off my plane because I had the throttles at idle or not, or if he just didn't know I was coming. But was able to get a pretty good run on him. Now, like I said before, I am not the world's best pilot. I'm not very great at aiming. But as I'm in the HVAP-armed 430mm Canon HE219, I was looking at going after those... going after the landing craft down there coming into A, but they weren't that close yet, so I'm heading back over this way to see if I can't get over to spot any enemies coming in either towards A or towards the bomb zones, but there wasn't anything there, so I turned back to decided I better actually go help with these landing craft. We got another 219 over here working on the landing craft, Derpy here, so I'm going to go and help him out. Looking at the teams, there weren't that many enemies left, and we seem to have a pretty good shot, and I decided we better take these, take the landing craft out to protect the A point so that we can keep our close landing field and then prevent the enemy from getting one. So that's what I'm doing here, coming back in to help out my brother 219 with these landing craft. Yeah, not the best display of aiming there. Sorry, everybody. Now, I don't know if AAA off ships got nerfed a little bit, but I never really take any hits here, and I mess around with the landing craft a couple times in this video, and never really take any serious hits from the boats, so I don't know. I take some pretty decent hits from the landing craft, actually, from their machine guns, but nothing from the actual AAA there, off the cruisers and destroyers back there, so I'm not sure if I just really had the luck of the RNG or what, but while my fellow 219 and I are dealing with the landing craft here, there's still a little bit of enemy fighting going on. We had this battle mostly in hand.
Returning to the airfield.
Got a 109 left, a 190 left, a couple of 219s. We're doing pretty good. The thing I was most concerned about at this point was whether or not that Halifax had managed to escape and go run away and fly off to space, but thankfully our guys had caught him and shot him down, so that was my biggest concern. So there's 3 enemies left, one guy with very little score. I was afraid he was going to be up, running around somewhere in a bomber or something, way out the edges of the map, or hanging out over our airfield or something silly like that.
The enemy is wanted. We must counterattack.
Kind of idling out over the middle of the field here so I can talk to the team a little bit. And like I said there in the chat, I really do love both of these planes. I anticipate them probably getting nerfed or BR increased at some point because they're both just monstrous at their battle ratings, and that's generally what happens, but I'll enjoy them while I can, and even so, honestly, I think that they probably would survive a bit of an increase. They're both heavy fighters, so once you get up against something maneuverable, you can't really do much about it. Neither of them have a tail gunner, so there's not really much you can do if a more maneuverable plane gets in behind you, except maybe, hopefully, dive away from them. I don't know. At any rate, with the interceptor spawn, they get a bit of a head start. Turn around, and suddenly there's a B-25 sighted. Now that 190 is definitely going to beat him. He's got quite a head start on me. Although, I did end up following him in just in case the AAA hits either one of us. The AAA from the ships up here. There are quite a few of them. But still, even if I don't make it up in time to help with the B-25, I can at least hopefully draw some of the AAA fire away from our 190. Though I'm not even really going to be close to help with the B-25. I mean, even if I do get to that B-25, he's going to get to the island with all the rest of the AAA or the aircraft carriers before I'm going to catch up to him. But nonetheless, I'm going to head over there because that's the only target that's in sight at the moment. And yes, you will get heavy flak if you fly over 10 British destroyers.
We need to put more pressure on the
That is a
enemy.
thing that you can count on. And suddenly, a wild Spitfire appears. So I was really glad that I had actually headed over here to help out because we've got some extra company here. I'm trying to warn the 190 there's a Spit coming in behind him while I'm still trying to somewhat outmaneuver the AAA here.
Somebody attack him.
So, bit of a problem there. He does get the B-25 set on fire, but at the cost of being set on fire himself by the Spitfire. I don't know if I would call that a good trade, honestly. Probably, definitely could have used the 190 for sure. He did actually get shot down by the enemy B-25. And I couldn't quite pull the lead I needed on this Spitfire, which would have been very nice if I had. And here is where I was talking about earlier. If you get into a turning fight or something with a more maneuverable fighter, you're pretty much toast. There's not a lot you can do without help. And that is pretty much what happens here. So I've got a Spitfire rolling in on me. I tried to get a head-on him. Didn't quite. I basically picked the wrong time to zoom in and would have had him pretty much toasted here if I'd have been able to actually point the nose at him. I certainly would have won that head-on. So I just barely missed him. I'm still not terribly good at aiming and zooming with the mouse and keyboard aim. I had enough damage with my right wing here that I pretty much couldn't type anymore without, every time I let off the controls at all, my plane was listing very heavily to the right side. So, had just enough time to, with my joystick I could have actually held this more stable, but with the keyboard controls I had to tap the left roll button until it rolled too hard to the left, then let it go and kind of keep doing that back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I'm wepping because I have no idea how long my right engine is going to hold out here. And I'm just trying to make a run back to our airfield and bring this thing down and put it in for a repair. Thankfully, I had friendly fighters come and take the Spitfire off me because he would have just feasted on me otherwise, and I actually do get saved there. Here was just basically a race to, am I going to make it back to the airfield or not? And just me seeing if I can properly control this thing, especially when I've got to make a big right-hand turn to line up on the airfield with a lot of right-wing damage. One thing you're not supposed to do is turn into a stalled wing, and that's exactly what I end up having to do here to line this thing up. Thankfully, I basically did it right, as you'll see. But it was very touchy and had to take a very, very gentle turning approach as my right engine dies on final approach here. Thankfully, this airfield had no obstructions in front of it, and basically I could just come right in over the water and put it down right on the edge of the runway. Engine number 2 is dying. It should be dead. It's still holding on for some reason, although it's finally starting to lose all of its RPMs, and I'm losing speed even with my left engine still working. Coming in real close here. Put the flaps down, put the gear down, and hope that I can just glide it in over the runway. And managed to put her down safely. And as we bring her in for a rolling stop, use the additional cannon brakes that the designers were thoughtful enough to provide. And managed to bring her in safely for a stop. We'll skip ahead for the repair and then pick her back up as we're taking off again. So as we get her airborne again, just with not much runway to spare, I would probably recommend, if you're able to fly the 219 off of the runway on Norway, I would recommend probably holding the brakes down and revving up your engines as far and hard as you can get them with the brakes on, and then releasing the brakes once you're up to maximum RPMs. You'll probably start rolling before then, but the longer you can hold the brakes and save yourself some runway is probably much more beneficial to you. So as I'm getting back airborne here to try and go help out our friendlies, a enemy Spitfire goes in the drink over maneuvering, so that works well. Our fellow 219 goes down. Our 109 is coming back to try and land and rearm, and I'm going to end up trying to decide. The Spitfire was supposedly damaged and heading back to his aircraft carrier. So I decided ultimately I'll stick around here, deal with these additional landing craft that have spawned in, and will come and try to take our airfield away from us. And then see if I can't buy enough time for the 109 behind me, rather, not 190. The BF-109 that's behind me to land, rearm, get airborne again, and then he can hopefully give me some top cover against whatever enemy aircraft are left. So I'm kind of just circling here, staying away from the enemy AAA coming off of the ships, and waiting for a friendly to land, and trying to basically goad the Spitfire into coming back and fighting, which wasn't really the smartest idea because I anticipated being able to see him sooner than I end up being able to see him. But whatever. I already had more than enough score in this game to make up for whatever kind of hits and losses I was going to take, so it was worth a wee bit of trash talking. Plus, I really didn't want the Spitfire to just fly away and climb and climb and climb and climb and make this battle last longer, or go back and try to land or whatever. So trying to tell him to land at the carrier rather than just keep flying away. And I don't know why it said Hostile Team had lost all their vehicles there. I thought he had crashed or something. I still don't really quite understand why it said that, because he didn't try to land. He didn't land. He was still airborne, and a little bit of weird swing on the shells there. So we both got the guys, myself and the 109 there, both got the notification that Hostile Team had lost all its vehicles, but that wasn't what happened. I still don't really understand what happened there, why it did that. Because he most definitely was not crashed out yet. But at any rate, continue rolling in and strafing out these landing craft, trying to keep them from getting to our airfield here and keeping us from having a place to land. Too bad this thing didn't have a tail gunner. I could have really lit up those landing craft. Or too bad I can't aim so well. Otherwise, I could have also... something else I should point out. I forgot to mention it earlier in the first half of the video. With my mouse and keyboard controls, I've got all guns are just bound to the left mouse, so I don't have any separate distinct firing control, and I realize that's obviously something I've got to fix. I just haven't done it yet. So all of my guns are firing every time I click the mouse here, which obviously is not ideal, particularly for something like this aircraft where there's three different subsets of your guns. You've got the MK-103s, the MK-108s, and the MG-151s, and should be able... obviously, this aircraft is going to be best if you can selectively fire using the high-velocity MK-103s against destroying ground units or armored things, and then the 151s and 108s against air targets, generally. Or if nothing else, it just... say I could extend my ammo for fighting and destroying things like the landing craft here if I only fired one pair of guns at a time, because there's certainly... all the ammo I've got in these guns is good enough to destroy the landing craft, so definitely something I have to fix myself. And I thought I hit shift there, not caps lock, until I looked down and realized that I was typing in all caps instead of just capitalizing the I. So whoops. That's what happens when you're not looking at what you're typing. Which I've mentioned this before in other videos. I should learn to type better, but I just never have. One of my many faults. So our 109 is heading off to try and find the enemy Spitfire and or keep me protected and give me top cover. And yes, sorry. So still trying to get the Spitfire to come in and actually fight here, hoping to kind of bait him in by destroying the landing craft and stuff. Just really wanted to just get this battle finished more than anything, is what I was trying to do there. Just, honestly, just wanted to finish it as quickly as possible. It was getting kind of late in the night, and I wanted to finish up the research on my final 262, get it purchased, and then get to bed. As it had started it was getting pretty late, and I had to get up pretty early in the morning to run some errands and drop some people off. So in the meantime, might as well farm some more research in Lions with the remaining cannon rounds I have left in my premium plane. And then that suddenly happens. Not exactly sure where he came from. Well, I mean, obviously I know where he came from, but we didn't pick him up coming in, and he managed to sneak in, get above me, and get in a very good position, and got through my cover there, which was okay because it was my fault for not paying attention to my surroundings whatsoever. So yeah, same guy on me again. Only this time there's nobody here to particularly save me at the moment. So doing everything I can to try and avoid him, and hope that the 109 gets back to me in time. And that's that. Take a massive left wing catastrophic damage, and down we go. But it's alright. It certainly was a very good battle, and we'll skip ahead for the end. We ended up losing. They got into a pretty good fight at the end there, and our guy lost. But here's the final score roll-up. Still pretty good. Certainly would have paid out better if we'd have won, but I ended up being just 1,000 research short on my final 262, which I did finish up in the very next flight that I did, which it won't be in this video, but here's the final score. Did take a first place with all the damage and destruction I did. Almost 5,000 base score. 2 assists, a kill on an airplane, 10 ground units destroyed. There's all the scoring. And that'll be that. I hope you guys enjoy this. I certainly look forward to flying these airplanes more and hopefully bringing you guys some more and better aircraft videos. Don't forget to check out all the social media links. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.